Milo2, what's worked inside the canopy. Take me forever to go through all of it, but look, I'm still sleeping on a swag on top of a bunk. Been doing that for, I can't remember how long, since bunks were invented, and before that it was swags, but I got older. And I'll tell you what, for a single guy travelling, or even a couple, you know, it's really hard to beat the old bunk and the swag. Cost effective and super comfortable, and kind of suits all the weird places you got to stay in Australia. You don't got to stay there, but pub car parks sometimes. Okay, in here, this is the Mr. Airbag Man compressor and receiving tank, which is mostly for the rear suspension. It's never caused any dramas at all. I have used it to pump up the tyres a couple of times, but only because I didn't have one of me cheap bum compressors along, you know, because you're always better off wearing out a cheap compressor. Not that they seem to wear out these days, but usually what happens is someone comes up and says, "Can I pump all the tyres up on my Nissan?" And you go, "Oh, God, okay, you know, there you go." RV accessories water tank with the pump means I can have a shower anywhere, you know, wash up, do whatever. I've yet to run this out, and I'm not even sure how much water it takes, but no problems, no leaks, mounting's been superb, so that gets a huge tick. Coming around here, I'm going to show you something that you never normally get to see, or if you do, it's from a distance. This is my Coleman Gladiator stove. It's what they call a hyper flame. Be careful, there's lots of different types of stoves, even lots of different types of Colemans, but if you get the hyper flame, it's got twice as much heat as anything else on the market. In fact, you can glow these babies bright red. Not that you want to, but you've got to be careful not to. When I'm packing it down, use the original packing, and I keep mine in an old, you know, wheel-mounted rubbish bag made out of canvas. Canvas bags are just awesome for protecting everything in the back of a truck. This, I'm so proud of this. This is the top End Campgear, made in Newcastle, camp kitchen. Now, look, the design is just insane. The construction is fantastic. Everything from the toolkit down here to the drawers works beautifully and has continued to work despite getting beaten mindless. I mean, it's been there as long as the stove, and they're both surviving, but the kitchen will be going for another 20 years or more. It's an awesome bit of kit, and it keeps the dust out. And I know that because I've run Milo2 without the canopy, as you might be aware. What else have we got in here? Well, okay, the Snowmaster fridge. After using another brand for a long time, I switched to Snowmaster because they're super strong. They've got a whole lot of advantages, but the biggest advantage is the sheer technology of being able to have a fridge and a freezer that both run at the temperatures you set them at, you know, and you can monitor the whole lot from in the cabin. Now, I don't normally go in for tech stuff like that, but when it works, and this has really had the snot beaten out of it over some rough tracks and all sorts of other stuff, and it performs brilliantly. It even means I can use one side of it, you know, just to keep the beer at just the right temperature, and the other side to keep the meat at the right temperature, or whatever, doesn't matter. You can set the temperature all over the shop and it works great. Okay. There's some terrain tamer parts up there, but there always is in the back of Milo2. You never know when I'm going to need them. I first got into power tools, battery power tools, when a tradie mate of mine suggested that, you know, could be a good move. And I absolutely loved it. And all of a sudden, I've got my worksite radio Bluetooth unit here, which I can use out in the fields. I can use it when I'm working on the truck. I can use it everywhere, even when I'm doing chores for the handbrake. And it runs on the same battery as the chainsaw. Now, I always thought an 18-volt chainsaw, you know, wouldn't be very useful. Well, look, Noah, if you had one of these, mate, you could have knocked the ark over on your own eventually. Just need a few battery charges to get you there, eh? And because it uses the same battery, I got a bit carried away. This is all my latest stuff, okay? I even got the right box to put it in. Unbelievable. This is a 9 amp force battery. Now, I know that I can come home after a weekend on Stratty and I've still got plenty of power left. And that's after using the lantern, which is adjustable, and not often these days, but hey, don't go anywhere without a cutting wheel and an 18-volt grinder, all right? That's the new rule, isn't it, really? Get a load of this. This little doohickey clips on top of the battery, and then you can charge USB appliances and other things just from your same battery. Now, I got a couple of batteries, but honestly, if one thing has changed what's in the back of Milo2 in the last couple of years, it's been this stuff. It's just absolutely awesome. So there you go, guys. That's pretty much it. I mean, you know, there's chairs and there's other bits and pieces get chucked in the back. Having a canopy means that I can afford to just fill it up pretty much. But the one thing that's never changed is, to some degree, just take the stuff you need, you know. And that's when you can really relax and enjoy life. And keep it simple. Okay, I was going to get underneath today and show you what's happening underneath Milo2, but that was too much hard work, and, you know, we're supposed to be taking it easy at home, aren't we? So I'll get back to what I do best. I'll be there in a minute, sugar. And we'll do the underneath and what's worked and what hasn't worked later. Oh, one last thing I'd better point out. If you see me driving around, you wonder why this lead's hanging out the side. That's because one of the things that didn't work was the earth strap that takes power from the canopy to the battery. And I made that, and it kept breaking. There's a bit of movement here I've got to play with. So this is just an emergency strap. Now, just on that point, you should always somewhere have a spare fridge plug with a couple of heavy-duty wires and some battery clips at the end of it, because 99 times out of 100, if a fridge stops, it wouldn't be one of these, but if a fridge stops, there's a fair chance it's the power leads from the battery to the fridge, so you can get right around that if you're prepared. Oh, talking fridges, Chuka's hanging out. See you soon. All right, mate.